Why you shouldn't pretend to be kicking the ball at the ref. Ronaldo's most bizarre red card. The ref sending off a ball boy and a linesman. And how the French referee had to quit football due to his one terribly wrong decision. Football is full of passion, and passion often leads to rushed decisions. So in this video we would like to tell you about the most bizarre, weird, hilarious and simply inexplicable red cards this game has ever seen. But before we get into it, here's our today's question for you. Which manager was sent off more than any player in his league in the 20-23 season? Jose Mourinho, Diego Simeone, Roberto De Zerbi, Xavi? Drop a comment if you think you know the answer, and now get ready, here we go. And we begin with the poor Serkan Kurintili, the Konyaspor goalkeeper. The Malatyaspor player kicked the ball with all his strength and it was flying towards Serkan. For some completely inexplicable reason, the Konyaspor keeper simply grabbed the ball with his hands, despite being out of the penalty area. A moment later, he realized what he had just done and started taking off his gloves. Serkan knew the red card was imminent, and he didn't have to wait long. The referee came up and the keeper was sent off. What makes it even more bizarre is the time. It happened in the very first minute, 13 seconds into the game. That game ended 2-0 in favor of Malatyaspor, and so for Kurintili, he made history that evening as it was the earliest ever red card to be shown to a keeper. Now to Cristiano Ronaldo and his most ridiculous red card, which dates back to 2008. It was a Manchester derby, and United were 1-0 ahead against City, and then it was Cristiano's time to shine. 60 minutes in, the Portuguese got a yellow, no questions about that one. However, Ronaldo had questions to Howard Webb, as in fact his sarcastic applause could have resulted in him being sent off at once. The ref, however, decided to have mercy on the young Portuguese, but only 8 minutes later, Ronaldo was in the spotlight yet again. A corner was taken, and Ronaldo jumped the highest and could have easily headed it goalwards, but instead he headed the ball away as if he was a goalkeeper. While it was hard to understand what he had just done, it was pretty easy for Webb to come up with a verdict, a second yellow and a red card for Cristiano. As Ronaldo explained later, he thought the referee gave a whistle, and in fact there was a foul on a City player. But the problem was that there was no whistle, so Ronaldo's excuse was unable to save him from the one-match ban. As for his team, United still managed to hold on their 1-0 lead despite having a man down. While we live in 2023, this guy lives in 2100. Meet the Frenchman Eric Hasley. Before we go on, we would like to remind you that taking off a shirt is forbidden in football, both during the game and while celebrating a goal. Though you can actually take it off, it's considered unsportsmanlike conduct and punished with a yellow. And now back to Eric Hasley. Back in 2011, he scored a penalty in an MLS game, and now look at his celebration. Yes, he took off his shirt and threw it to the fans, and he had another shirt on under the one he got rid of. When the triumphant Eric got back to the pitch, he saw the ref reaching for a yellow card, his second, which turned red. Hasley's reaction speaks for itself. He was absolutely sure he was one step ahead, but got outmastered by the referee. And he should have expected that, as Baldomero Toledo is the MLS record-holding referee in terms of red cards, so the Frenchman should have never messed with him. And once the referee had to send off a ball boy. It happened in 2016 in a South Africa League game. 94 minutes in, Cape Town City were in attack, their last attack of the game. The shot was off target, but suddenly an extra ball appeared on the pitch while the first one was still in play. So it's either the boy decided to stop the attack or threw the ball by accident. And as there can't be two balls on the pitch at once, the referee stopped the game and without hesitation sent the ball boy off, so the young one could only obey the ref's decision and leave the pitch. Our next hero is Marko Arnautovic, who has at least 2 absurd red cards under his belt. First, it happened while Marko was playing for Werder. In a match against Hamburg, the Austrian made a fake shot while standing a meter away from the referee, and the ref considered it unsportsmanlike behavior, so Marko, who had already had a yellow card, was shown a second one and sent off. The second story of that kind happened in the Austria-Sweden game. Marko Arnautovic had a conflict with Johan Elmander. After a brief duel of views, the Swede suddenly fell down on the pitch in a terrible pain. The first official, Junaid Shakir, came up to El Monte. At that moment, Arnautovic burst out laughing as he was sure his opponent was about to be punished for diving. To his enormous surprise, the referee fell for the Swede's acting and showed Marco his second yellow card. His reaction speaks louder than any words. And now to one of the most hilarious moments in the history of football. In a women's Serie A Roma-Milan game, the Roma keeper Rachel Baldi put the ball in play as she passed it to Manuela Giuliana. Now pay attention to Manuela. She had no idea what she was supposed to do. She was just looking at Rachel while she needed to touch the ball, as the keeper performing a goal kick is forbidden to make 2 touches. The Roma striker Valentina Giacinti got it right as she rushed to the ball. At the same time, Baldi had to deal with the danger urgently, so she went for a desperate move as she kicked the ball away. The referee was quick to react, a straight red for Rachel. The Roma keeper's discontent was now aimed at her teammate Manuela, as she only needed to make one little touch of the ball. The referee's decision was harsh, but fair at the same time. A double touch and stopping a promising attack. So the game was over for Rachel Baldi in the 55th minute. By the way, here's what happened next. Milan were rewarded a free kick, but didn't manage to make anything out of it. Even an official can get sent off, like it happened in the Scottish Premier League game. The Kilmarnock player, Jordan Jones, was about to take a corner when he noticed one of the linesmen feeling unwell and asked if he was alright. Was it the heat of food poisoning? The linesman threw up on the pitch. The referee, Craig Thompson, felt there was a need to defuse the situation, so he reached for the red card and brandished it before his colleague. Of course, it was just a joke, and no one was going to send off the linesman. Craig Thompson actually asked if he was feeling okay, and the game was resumed after the linesman confirmed he was fine. And indeed, the game resumed, and the linesman's stomach didn't fail him anymore. Let's proceed with 2 players pretending they were Rams or UFC fighters. The Toronto-Atlanta United game was approaching its final minutes when a brawl started. But all eyes were drawn to the 2 players, the Brazilian Auro and the Argentine Barco, each other. It looked as if these 2 had mistaken football for UFC and went for a duel of views. The VAR referees, however, weren't big fans of UFC, it seems, as they told the first official about the players' misconduct, and the ref watched the replay and awarded them both with a red card. And not only that foolish confrontation resulted in 2 straight red cards, but also in another brawl with almost everyone involved. Our next hero is the Spanish midfielder Cesc Fabregas. Chelsea were playing West Bromwich away, and that match didn't change anything for the Blues. In fact, they had already become the 14-15 Premier League winners. Now back to Cesc. 29 minutes in, he made a terribly poor decision. The Spaniard meant to give the ball back to West Brom, but accidentally hit Chris Brunt's head. The referee, however, thought it was on purpose, so Cesc was given a straight red, and Chelsea actually struggled without him. The final score was 3-0 in favor of the Baguettes. Once upon a time, there was a French referee, Tony Chaperon, the one who had a number of conflicts with Ibrahimovic and called him the most unbearable footballer he ever faced. But to think of it, Tony was no better, as his one decision cost him his whole career. In January 2018, PSG was playing Nantes. The Parisians were 1-0 ahead 90 minutes in, and Kylian Mbappe's run was interrupted by a foul. A whistle was given. The referee stopped the game and reached for a red card. It wasn't Mbappe diving, and it wasn't a penalty either. The red card was given to a Nantes player, but nobody understood why. In a moment, however, the replay was shown while the Parisians were on the break. Tony Chaperon happened to block the way of the Brazilian Diego Carlos. There was no time for the Nantes player to react, so he bumped into the referee, who fell down after a contact. Chaperon's reaction was unpredictable, to say the least. He turned and kicked Diego Carlos. That was already outrageous, as referees are supposed to be in control of their emotions. And then Chaperon reached for a yellow card and showed it to the Brazilian, even though he did nothing to deserve it. And as it was his second yellow, the player had to leave the pitch because of the referee's absolutely mindless decision. After the game, there came consequences. The amount of criticism made Chaperon apologize and asked for Diego Carlos' red card to be cancelled. But it was too late. Chaperon was handed a 6-month ban by the disciplinary committee. It happened in February, which meant Tony had to miss the rest of the 17-18 season. Meanwhile, his fellow referees considered that too harsh of a punishment as they were about to name Chaperon League One Referee of the Year. However, the National Union of Professional Footballers intervened as they weren't going to let the award go to Chaperon. In the end, the non-PSG game was Chaperon's last ever as a professional referee. Even after his ban was over, he was left out in the cold as there was no way he could ever be appointed for a more or less big game. That was the end of our today's video, featuring the most hilarious and embarrassing cases of players being sent off. While it's never a good thing to watch your team playing with a man down, we can't deny that red cards can still be amusing and memorable. Dear friends, feel free to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button if you enjoyed this video, as that will help its promotion and allow you to get a notification once our new video is out. That's it for today, but there's a bunch of other videos we have on our channel, so don't hesitate to check them out.